Thanks for inviting me to speak at the conference today. I've been trying to slow my speech down a little bit so that it lasts 15 minutes, but if I speak at my normal volume, it should be okay. So placemaking has been happening in Galashiels for years. The term placemaking was new to me, but leading on the development and delivery of local projects has been central to Energise Galashiels Trust since its inception. So Energise was established as a SCIO in November 2014 by individuals in group, sharing a vision for a more vibrant, confident and inviting community. With funding support from Scottish Borders Council and South of Scotland Enterprise, we've worked alongside them and several community organisations in the town, all aiming to make Gala the best possible place it can be. This little slide here, it represents different themes of projects on which we have concentrated. I'll just pick up on a few of those now. So All About Gala really covers promotion of the town, attractions, events and projects taking place here primarily through our town brand, which is Galashiels Heartlands of the Borders. The town brand is used across social networks, print and broadcast media to promote Galashiels in a positive light, emphasising our considerable strengths, our natural capital, our textiles and design heritage, our hosting of a prestigious university campus, and of our position as the rail gateway to the Scottish borders. Looking good represents our focus on enhancing the appearance of some of the unoccupied premises in the town centre, where there's been the opportunity to do so, and that's included window displays in empty premises, shopfront improvements and property transformation grants. And we aim to support the efforts of Scottish Borders Council and retail outlets to make the town centre attractive to businesses, visitors and residents. Events enhance community life and they benefit our local economy. Some of the most successful have been the monthly Heartland Market, the Tangled Fibre Festivals and Marooned, and I'll talk a little bit more about them in a little bit. In fact, I'll talk about them now. So community projects supported by Energise Galashiels. Since 2015, we've supported or delivered 75 community projects or events. Galashiels Heartlands of the Borders brand, as I've said, that is the town brand, and there's a little image up there at the top. Bank Street Gardens there, they're maintained by Floral Gala, which is a subgroup of volunteers from the Community Council. They've had some financial support from us to purchase gardening equipment and planters for the town. The black and white image in the top corner there is the new Little Arts Hub. So we've supported a social enterprise to pilot a 12-month artist hub in Channel Street, again in one of the empty premises. About 70 people attended the opening evening on the 21st of March, and there have since been about 500 visitors to the different exhibitions and workshops held there. Energise also purchased a trishaw from Cycling Without Age, and there is a small group of volunteers now offering trishaw rides for residents of local sheltered accommodation. The Borders Hearing Care Centre was one of the businesses supported by a property transformation grant. In total, we've supported the improvement of 35 town centre properties, with priority being given to long-term vacant premises, large vacant units, or those negatively impacting on the town centre. In terms of the events that we've supported, these include the inaugural Tangled Festival in 2023. That was attended by about 1,000 people over the two-day event. It came back this year on the 31st of May and the 1st of June, and we did support them again this year. But advanced ticket sales were sold out. The town was very, very busy. Businesses in the town were posting on social media over the course of the 2 days and the days after about the positive impact that that event had had on their business for their footfall. The Heartland Market in the middle there, that undoubtedly increases footfall in the town on the first Saturday of every month. This year's community arts project comprised a series of events using various venues and public realm space around the town, including Bank Street Gardens that you see on the screen there. One single day event held in the McCarts had over 600 people in attendance. Marooned has become an annual community rugby event attracting about 4,000 people to Netherdale. And the Town Awards were established to recognise the contribution made by local businesses and encourage the community to nominate their favourite businesses in the town. The first event attracted 7,500 votes, and this year's event attracted similar numbers. We're very proud of our murals in the town. That's them there in all their glory, and they all in some way celebrate what is important to the people of Galashiels. And they were one of the factors which earned the town 2 national awards. because we are award-winning Galashiels. Energise Galashiels won 2 national awards in 2023 for the Vibrant Gala project. First was the Creative Community Award from Scotland's Town Partnership at an event in Dundee on the 28th of November. The second was improving the Scotland's Places Award from SURF, Scotland's Regeneration Forum, and their award ceremony was in Glasgow on the 7th of December. Receiving both of those awards led to a motion in the Scottish Parliament recognising the achievements. Now, being voted the happiest place in Scotland in a survey conducted by Rightmove, not only probably resulted comments from other border towns, given the infamous border rivalry, but it also resulted in a trip to Galashiels by travel writer Robin McKelvey. His positive write-up of that visit mentions some of the other investment that's happened in the town, which includes what you see on screen there. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of the new Academy campus because it's still a build in progress. So the last few slides have shown a range of actions that have all played their part in placemaking in some way within Galashiels. What I'm going to talk about now really is about placemaking in the context of the Galashiels town team. So that's an overview of the story so far. You'll see that we've incorporated the town brand into the Galashiels town team, so it all ties in. And Naomi has already talked about the workshops hosted by Scottish Borders Council, so I'll just very briefly talk about them and take you through the rest of it. So the workshops that were hosted by Scottish Borders Council in November 22 and March 23, they were facilitated by the Scottish Futures Trust, and the feedback from those that were invited to attend the first workshop resulted in 8 areas or themes for consideration in any draft town plan. And in case anybody can't see the screen there, number 1, town centre regeneration. 2 is a community campus, which is the new Galashiels Academy. Bike and trails over Laddock and Langley was number 3. Number 4 was a regional campus down at Netherdale. 5 is Tweedbank connections. 6, community trails over Galahill. 7, a new neighbourhood. And 8, Lade and River regeneration. And after that second workshop in March, I think it would be fair to say there was a bit of a lull. And not being a particularly patient person, Ian Dalglish and I, who's the chair of Energise, we met with Scottish Borders Council and we had some discussions about how Energise could help drive forward the town team process. So we hosted a town team meeting in September. There were 25 people representing various different organisations at that first meeting. And when asked to describe the gala in one word, the attendees at that first meeting were overwhelmingly positive, as the word cloud shows. We also then used the 8 themes from the first 2 workshops to generate discussion and feedback. And we asked those present to rank the 8 themes in order of priority. Town centre regeneration was a top priority identified by those present. We've had meetings every month since September. There's usually between 15 and 20 people coming along, and they all represent different organisations in the town. We know that there will be some organisations or areas of the town that are still not yet represented, and we are working hard to try and identify any gaps. So we then moved to the public consultation, and firstly, way back in September, which seems like a long time ago, Ian and I spoke on the local radio station TG1 Radio about the formation of the town team, really just to let listeners know what was happening and to introduce them to this survey that would be coming out, because we wanted to know the views of as many local people as possible across the whole town. After that, the consultation tool that we used was the Place Standard tool, and we started the consultation process in December. We promoted it in the Gala Life, which is a local booklet that goes to, I think it's something like the 16,000 households in the TD1 postcode, the Border Telegraph and the Southern Reporter, as well as through our own Heartlands of the Border social media platforms. And if I'm honest, we used the Place Standard tool because it was an existing tool. We had conversations with a tech company and Scottish Government about another tool called Place Builder, but for a couple of reasons, those good ones, cost and timelines, we decided not to go with that. So we made the Place Standard tool available digitally on social media and by email and in paper form. Following feedback at one town meeting, we had a version of the paper form produced in Ukrainian, and that was left at the Focus Centre in Galashiels, but as far as I'm aware, none of those versions were actually completed. The Play Standard tool, it's relatively easy to complete, I think. Not everybody agrees with me, but there were issues with people clicking into it and then failing to complete the survey. And we think that that possibly resulted in between 35 to 40% loss rate of responses. Some people provided very detailed answers to the first few questions in the PST, but less information in the second part. So I don't know whether that's because people had lost interest or patience using that tool. Many people provided answers which did not reflect the question, which made it quite interesting when we were reviewing the feedback. When we shared the survey link on social media, some level of corruption occurred, and we had feedback that people were being taken to an already completed version. But we fed that back to Naomi, who fed it back to Scottish Government. But given those issues, we decided to run the survey until the 31st of March, which was longer than we'd originally anticipated. And actually, from the middle of February, it felt like progress had started to stagnate again. But over that consultation period, we delivered sessions at Borders College and Galashiels Academy, and the picture on screen there is one of the sessions at the Academy. 7 sessions were delivered at the Academy to all S2 pupils. Some S6 pupils were involved as well. And the reason that we chose to work closely with young people touches on some of the things that's been said earlier today. We were sensing that the town needs to reconsider the facilities and services available for them now and in the future to prevent that talent drain and to keep our young people here as our future. We've also created a Galashiels Town Team Facebook page. You've got to love Facebook. I certainly don't, but we try and share updates from the town team there just to highlight general activity, which is making it a better place to live, work, learn and enjoy. With hindsight, we could have communicated more along the way, but it very often felt like there wasn't very much new to share. I think from this point forward, we will have more things to start sharing with people. So our consultation then for the PST, we had a total of 470 completed responses, 284 from the main one and 186 from the young person's version. The town team members at the meetings reviewed and discussed all of that feedback. You'll not be surprised to hear that most of the feedback related to better street cleanliness, increased and improved street lighting, better road and path maintenance, and reusing empty derelict buildings in line with the town centre regeneration. So where are we now? Well, we need our town team members to confirm roles and responsibilities. We had a meeting last night. Unfortunately, there was a football game on, so it ended before we could get into the detail of that. So that's the topic for our meeting next month. We are at the process of appointing consultants, and we've put that out to a mini competition. We've made a decision that we would go to all consultants, and really our ask of those consultants in terms of producing our plan is to review all the information gathered from previous consultations, previous plans, and the Play Standard tool, so that we're not missing out things that have previously been suggested as opportunities for the town. We also had a public consultation event on the 1st of June, when the progress so far was on display in the Little Arts Hub. And people were asked to identify one project that they think that the town needs. About 40 people dropped by. There were 25 suggested projects on the post-it notes, and they broadly reflected that already given through the PST. I'll read a few of them now, but empty building strategy, support for community identity projects, youth clubs, a permanent art gallery, help clean up the arches on Channel Street, another indoor attraction of any kind, better facilities at the public park, specifically toilets and a cafe, bowling alley, crazy golf, an indoor climbing or bouldering centre, community owned and run spaces, museum, arts and crafts events, but the best one and my favourite is a roller coaster around Galashiels. So that's where we currently are in terms of our town team and our placemaking journey, which has been a slower moving roller coaster, I suppose. It's starting to go a bit like this. We still feel that we've got lots to do, but we have a good place from which to work and a continuing commitment to make Galashiels a more welcoming and vibrant place to live, work, learn and visit. And that's me. So I'll just quickly